Hey everyone, how you're doing? Blue here, back with another Minecraft time-lapse guide. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about making huge changes to your Minecraft world that you're not happy with. Now, we're going to dive straight in the deep end here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and on the docks here that we built a couple of episodes ago, we're going to just tear the whole lot out and we're going to rebuild it. Not where the houses are, just the docks at the front here. The reason I'm doing this is because when we've done these docks here, and don't get me wrong, I liked the layout of them, I think they looked really cool, but I wanted to make these much more structured. I wanted to make something that was a lot larger and a lot more functional, I guess, in a survival world. So first things first, guys, if you're unhappy with anything in Minecraft, and especially if you've had a long run in Minecraft world, say you plan on spending years in building, I mean, there's a lot of people who spend many years in a survival world. Now, this is very different from me because this world here is a creative world, so it's a lot easier for me to work with. So everything you see in here might be an exaggerated example of what I'm talking about, but this goes for anything in any world that you're unhappy with. If you've got a long running survival world, it's important that you make sure you're happy with what you're building. If you build something and you're unhappy with it and you plan on playing in that world for a long time, it's going to bug you. It's going to bug you down the line and it's going to get on your nerves and maybe even at some point unmotivate you for playing the game because you're not happy with the way things are going. So I think it's always best that if there's something that's bothering you or that you're not happy about in game, go ahead and redo it. You know, don't be afraid to rip out a huge structure if you're not happy with it. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be worth it in the end because it's going to be something you're going to be happy with. It's a bit scary because you might spend a lot of time working on that sort of structure and it could take a lot of time doing it again. Something like this, for example, in creative would be in survival rather, would be quite a big project. But in the long run, it would be worth the changes because that way you'd be happy to go back and play in that area and build more, and it will motivate you to want to play more and build more on that area because it's looking better. It's looking the way that you want it to. Now for me, this area really bugged me because it was quite small and didn't really seem too functional. I weren't overly keen on the layout. Now, I would suggest that if you're doing any sort of structures, once you take it out and you're going to go ahead and rebuild it, before you actually put your walls in and build everything up, make a frame. Use some blocks, make a frame of the sort of shape that you're looking for, and stand back, take a look and decide whether it's the shape you're looking for and whether you're happy. In creative, you don't necessarily need to do this because creative, it doesn't matter if you have to redo it. It's a lot quicker and a lot easier. But in survival, I would highly recommend framing builds out first and taking a step back and just trying to get yourself a picture in your head to see whether it's sort of the shape that you're looking for. Once you're happy, go ahead and build it all up and start working on it. You know full well that if you've already built this up before and you was unhappy with it, you know the things that you was unhappy with, so you know the things to try and ignore. And you'll probably plan it a whole lot better because in your head, you're going to have a much clearer idea of what you want to do. Now, as you can see here, I've already got a much clearer idea of what I wanted with the docks. And as you can see, it's shaping up so much nicer than before. We've got that curved wall at the front of the edge of the docks there, which really adds a lot of detail. Having too many sort of straight and flat walls can be quite boring, especially in a busy area like a docks, and having some curves in there is something that I really think helps kind of really bring it all together and just create that slightly rough shape to everything that you would get inside of docks like this. Now, on the left hand side of the docks here, guys, it took me a while to kind of get an idea of what I wanted. I knew I wanted another piece of a dock that extended out here, but I couldn't get it to look the way I wanted. So I took a few thoughts about it, I lowered it down, I changed up some of the landscape, and in the end I decided to make it an extra wide one, just like we've got on the right hand side of the dock. Once I made this wider, it kind of just put the whole picture into perspective of what I wanted, and I just felt like I had a much clearer idea of how the docks was going to look. Now, once I finished up with getting the docks laid out here and I extended the land at the back here because we only had a very small bit of land, and with such a wide dock I think it was important to go ahead and extend this out a little bit further so we have more room here to work with the larger size dock. And this worked out so much better, and I am very happy with the end result. Now once you've got things like this all in place, guys, if you can, it's a good idea to plan things out with different colored walls and stuff like that. Now I do this quite a lot in builds, but sometimes I have a habit of using a bunch of different colored walls or concrete, for example, when I'm building, and I'll start planning things. As you can see on the other docks here, we just planned in different colors. But what is actually more helpful is if you actually plan things out in the same color for what they're gonna be. For example, on the docks here, I want a lot of this to be storage areas. I want a lot of storage and like little shelters where you can cover up products and stuff like that. So I decided to go ahead and lay it all out in orange. Now if you're in survival, you haven't got to use a colored wall. You could just use a certain type of block, and make sure you do the same with all of the same structures that you want. Lay them out with the same block, and that way it will give you a better idea of where everything is going to be placed. Up in the village here, I've done the same thing. I decided to lay out separate colors for the shops, separate colors for the houses, and separate colors for the trades. Now down the front here, I decided, because we've done the docks and we've gone over everything, I thought I would build up a little bit of the docks area here and kind of show you some ideas in place that I kind of had, or part of what my vision was for the area. So first of all, I thought the area on the left hand side here is going to be where the main storage section on the docks is going to be. I wanted like one big main section where most of the storage is going to be. So I wanted to start with, first of all, a large storage warehouse. And I came up with several ideas in my head, but I wanted something that showed off a bit more stone here. I wanted something that looked a little bit more secure, something that was more of a stronger build rather than being built up in all wood with just a lower half in stone. So I messed around with a few ideas here, and again, you're going to see me change this up a lot. And again, this is another key point, is don't be afraid to change things. You know, don't be afraid of that if you change it, that it's going to mess it up. You know what you've built, you know how it looks, and if you take a screenshot or something and you're not happy, you can always build certain parts back to the same as they were before. But it's just important not to be afraid to experiment and play around a bit. The more that we play around a bit, the better we become as a builder and as a general Minecraft player. It's all about learning. The more you sort of play around and change things, the more you learn. This goes for the same with building. I get a lot of people asking me, how do you become a better builder? And there is no one way that someone can become a better builder in Minecraft. It's just practice. All it is I'm sure that any of you guys could build just as good, if not better, than what I build, and most of you probably can build better. But the key here is just learning along the way. Don't be afraid of trying new block choices. Don't be afraid of trying new angles. Don't be afraid of trying a different style. Don't be afraid to mix things up a little bit. Just because one or two of your houses has a spruce roof, don't think that you've got to stick with everything as a spruce roof. As you can see on the docks here, guys, we mix up loads of different roof styles, and it actually makes things better. It creates more of an organic and realistic feeling village rather than everything feeling that you're looking at the same thing. It's just one of those that I think when you want to become a better builder, it's all about finding your own path that makes you become better at building. Anyone can share tips of how they become better, but it doesn't mean it's not always going to be the same for everyone. The one thing that would apply to everyone is practice. One thing that we all know that it will always make us better at anything, and that's just practice. Whether it be loading up a creative world and just practicing more at building, just picking up a load of random blocks and trying to build something with it, or gathering yourself a certain palette of certain colors, messing around with a building, coming up with a new shape, coming up with a new style. Everybody's got their own style in Minecraft, and that's what's so unique about this game, is that everybody can be different. We don't all have to be the same, and we don't have to build the same. The most important thing is to find your own style, find where you're happy building, what makes you happy and what you enjoy. And that is what's going to make the game not only much more fun for you, but much more rewarding, because at the end of it, you're going to be doing something that you enjoy, you know, something that is your path. Now, I know I'm probably nagging on a bit here, guys, but I just want to drum in the ideas here, you know, that just keep practicing and don't give up. You know, Minecraft is an extremely rewarding game for building, and you know, for me, I find it very therapeutic to sit down and relax and just do a bunch of building. And I enjoy it. I enjoy sort of doing landscaping, building a house, building a castle, whatever it is. I do really enjoy the building side of the game. So, you know, just find your point that you really enjoy, and just, you know, if you enjoy it, just keep at it. Now, with that being said, guys, as you can see, the docks here is really actually shaping up quite a considerable amount here. We've done quite a lot of work, not only on shaping the docks here, but also bringing in all of those other little ideas together. I've changed up the houses and the storage units here as much as possible. On the end of the docks there, you can see we've got a little sort of storage kind of shelter. It's not so much as a storage unit, it's more of a shelter that will sort of protect certain goods that might get damaged. Now, the crane that I built here was okay, but I weren't happy with it, and you will see right here, and this is my key point when I say don't be afraid to change. I changed this crane, I think, about 4 or 5 times. I was not happy with it. I removed it, started again, changed it, and changed it just time after time, because you know, there's no point in having something that's not going to fit right. And for me, when I'm building an area like this, I think it's important to build something that feels that it fits. And with things, especially things like cranes or some kind of equipment, if you're building stuff like that, sometimes it's very hard to build something that feels very fitting with the area. So I think sometimes it just takes a little bit of experimenting and messing around to actually grasp what is going to fit within that area. For me, I think this was the final design that I finally felt happy with. I'm not sure how accurate it is as a medieval style crane. I know cranes in this kind of style was used sort of many years ago originally. Is it medieval? I think it is, but I'm not certain. I'm not certain of what these sort of cranes look like in the medieval times. I did do a little bit of research, but it's very hard to find information on cranes of that period. So it was very little. I found a couple of pictures, so I kind of just went on that. And overall, guys, I mean, look, the docks is already shaping up and looking amazing from all of them changes. Now, if you was doing something in this in survival, yes, it would take a long time. It would be quite a lot of work, but it would just be so much more rewarding having something where the end product is something you really enjoy. Not only is this going to encourage you more into the game, but it's probably going to just give you much more ideas of where to take that village, where to take the next step, you know, or what path to move forward with in that area. For me, if I'm not happy with something and I change it, I think when I do change it, that's what gives me the idea of where to go next. You know, as soon as I'm happy with something, I then get an idea for a next area. If I'm happy with that, I get more ideas in my head where to go from there. So staying happy is a key to improving your building, guys, so just stick with it. Anyway, guys, I think I've done enough rambling for this one. I hope that you found some helpful tips in this video, and if you did, please don't forget to smash that like button, and if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Just don't forget to smash that bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. But for now, this is BlueNerd signing out, and I will catch you guys in the next one.